Come on in. What are we hunting tonight? Why don't you just decloak and have a seat right over there? That's right, right over there. Why? Well, because this is Predator and Prey. Which are you? I'm Chris Hansen.
Yes. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Predator and Prey, the HOTU podcast. We're back, and we're doing something a little different, but you have your HOTU Clan members here. I'm one of your hosts, P. Ray. Justin, the OWLF. How are you going, Justin?
Good. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. Looking
Good.
excited. I need to get a new pair of glasses, hence I haven't got the Arnie sunnies on.
Don't have the aviators on today.
I haven't got the aviators. And of course, a newest HOTU Clan member, Small Knife Sparky. Welcome back, Sparky.
Hello. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're just so excited, Yautja fans, because we're doing something a little bit different. It's a bit of a, we've had a great run with the latest and greatest comic books, but we're going to take a step back now. We've got a little bit of breathing space. And as discussed, I think in last episode, what we'd do is revisit some old scars. And this time, looking at a fan film, Predator, Dark Ages from 2015. It's been a while. It doesn't seem that long ago, but it's 8 years.
Yeah, 8 years. It's crazy. Right?
Yeah. Time flies, guys.
Oh yeah. And what had just come out? Was it The Predator had just come out before this, or was that after this?
Sparky. Oh, I think maybe The Predator came out from memory probably a bit later than that.
Yeah, the Predator came out in like 2016, I think.
Oh,
did it?
Okay.
I was about to say 2018, but I'm probably
Oh, you might be right. It might be 18. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it was 18.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
3 years after this. That's cool. Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll get into our thoughts. Of course, it's only a short film. The show notes will have the link to it. Yeah, HOTU fans. So go, if you haven't watched it, go check it out, and then come back and listen to us, or just be spoiled aplenty as we go through it. Before any of that, of course, how are our HOTU Clan? Start with Sparky. How are things? Any trophies? Not trophy rooms, but any conquests? Any killings?
Well, not really. I mean, I'm very excited at work. I work at a comic book shop, if anyone doesn't know by now. And we've had a lot of people coming in asking about Predator versus Wolverine, which is coming out soon. It should be. Yeah. Let me take a quick look. It's coming out in about 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks from today.
Wow.
So
Lovely.
I'm very excited. That's what is on my mind right now.
Yeah.
Yes, lovely. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of hype, I think, being built around it as well. I have the Google News specified to what you check out, and of course, current events totally out the window for Ray. It's all to do with comics and sports on my feed. And Predator and Wolverine features big, So yeah. How about yourself, Justin?
I'm excited too about. I've been thinking a lot about Predator and Wolverine, and I've been thinking too about how this is going to be 4 issues, this miniseries. So that when that wraps up, that should place us somewhere in the winter months. And I'm also curious because I'm always thinking about what the next thing is. I wonder what the next series will be. Are we going to go back to Theta and see more of her story, or is it going to be pairing the Predator up with a different Marvel character, like Wolverine? What are we going to see next? So I've been thinking about that a lot too, what we're going to see in a few months, because I'm sure there will be some type of announcement before the end of this miniseries about what they have planned afterwards. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, nice. And well, I've been enjoying the suggestion that this episode is based on, basically the fan films. I've been revisiting not only Dark Ages, but I went on a bit of a binge to revisit the other ones that I could find as well. I shared with you guys there's that World War II one in the Pacific, which is really cool. And there's the Bat in the Sun one with Wolverine and Predator. So there's a lot of really fun fan content and fan films out there, and you'll get none better than, again, we'll get into it, than Dark Ages, because the production quality, like for a fan film, was like, wow, like really good. So
very impressive. Yes.
Yeah.
I think this was your idea. I think you were the one that suggested this. So I'm super thankful to you, because I had no idea that this even existed. I don't think.
Wow, really? Yeah. From what I remember, I think it was funded through a Kickstarter, and I think it was only like £5,000 or something. It was
Really?
filmed in the UK.
Really?
Yeah, it's like real shoestring kind of budget. But it looks great. They did a really good job.
It does look great. It's cool. I mean, shall we go? Shall we get into it? Like,
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So many cool things to talk about with this film. So yeah, as mentioned, we're gonna look through Dark Ages 2015. Chuck it up there again. Predator. Interesting, Sparky. I didn't know it was a Kickstarter campaign. I just know it was a pretty cool film. Now again, the link will be in the show notes. But I have got here the trailer, just to wet everyone's whistle for those watching the video. So here's a 1-minute trailer out of the half hour or so short film.
Oh man, that's so cool.
Pretty cool, eh? I just watching that. I just want someone to make another fan film straight away.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys both watch this when it was initially released in 2015, or was it after the fact?
Oh no, for me it was well after the fact. I want to say maybe just a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was really going through, just trying to find any little thing that I had missed. And I was just that one really stuck with me. I was really blown away. And watching it feels like reading one of the great short stories from the anthology books or something. It's like a Dark Horse comic. It feels like something that could exist in the expanded universe of Predator.
I watched it, Justin, I think around the time or in anticipation of The Predator, because I remember getting really hyped because there had been a bit of a stretch. I think 2010 was Predators. I think. So that's like
I was thinking of earlier, 2010. Yeah.
It's like
so it was
almost
like
8
years.
Yeah. And like for all intents that the franchise was kind of dead. But with the talk of The Predator and Shane Black coming back on board, I got really excited, and I came across Dark Ages because, looking for
Okay.
trailers and such.
Yeah.
But it was exactly what Sparky said. I think it hits all the right notes. I think it's cleverly written. I mean, pace-wise, we're talking 27 minutes. And there are a couple of nice little nods to the original Predator, which I just really loved. I mean, you see films like Prey do that now as well when they quote, I think, is that right? If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yeah,
Tabe says
Yeah.
that. We get something similar in Dark Ages. So I just loved it, the look and feel of it. And before we had Prey, this was the period piece, right? This is what we all clamored for. Predator in a distant timeline fighting humans. So this, hit all the marks for me. But how about yourself, Justin?
I really enjoyed this. Yeah, like I said, this was my first time watching this, and I was really impressed with especially all of the little attention to detail. Like the chainmail was legit chainmail. All the weapons looked really good. All the medieval weapons looked really good. The costumes looked excellent. Like, these weren't just a bunch of weekend warriors that LARPed in their free time and had some extra money and decided to throw together like a period piece Predator movie. They actually had a passion for this stuff, and you could see it. And you could see it in the performances too. Like, these weren't people that were just dialing it in. They gave great performances as well. So that helped too. I mean, it's nice when you have a fan film where everybody's giving their all, and it shows, and it definitely shows with this. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's kind of start with the characters. So forgive us again. There probably will be links to the show notes for this. I'm stuck in the chopper, so I haven't got it with me. The writer, the producers. I know the lead actor is Adrian Bouchet. And he plays the Templar. Again, I don't know the names, but he's the main.
Thomas, I think.
Thomas. Okay.
Yeah.
He's a main knight. I did a bit of research as well. He later went on to do stuff like Mission Impossible. So he's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought he looked familiar. I thought I'd seen him in something else. Yeah.
For me, he's got a little bit of a Hugh Jackman feel to him. I don't know about you guys. He's taller.
Yeah, he's got some real presence. And just
definitely.
as Justin was saying, you could really tell that all of the cast, they weren't phoning it in or anything. They were really giving it their all. And it's so easy, I think, for these sorts of films to veer into the realm of like kind of kitschy cosplay,
Campy,
Holy Grail, like kind of, like it's really easy for them to kind of veer into that.
Yeah.
But just with the mise en scène, the costumes, the clever use of a familiar but different soundtrack here and there, it really works.
Yeah.
I think, as you said, I would touch upon Sparky. There is a danger because, like, not necessarily these actors are fans of the franchise or are fans of fantasy. So you can imagine that if someone who's more inclined to do, I don't know, political dramas or whatever, and they find themselves in this fan film to kind of ham it up, because like at the end of the day, they're fighting an alien, and they're knights and such. So full credit to the cast because they do, I guess, throw themselves into the role. I think they genuinely look like they're there to like bring a serious presence to it, rather than like this is just a fan film. Let's really play it up. The only one I thought, I mean, not taking nothing away, was I think is Joe Egan is his name, and he played Godfrey, but that's because his character was really larger than life. He was almost comic book looking, I think. His facial features, and he's the big lumbering kind of strong guy. yeah, but in no way I don't think he did a disservice. But I think because some of the characters are very much a stereotype or a trope,
Mhm.
you can look at them going, okay, you're putting some ham in there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a little bit of that
Yeah,
is to be expected, and I
yeah,
think it almost just from it being maybe like a genre piece, um, like sci-fi and historical fiction kind of smushed together. I
Mhm.
think it kind of helps to have some fun like that,
yeah,
because it's familiar and it's entertaining.
yes,
Yeah, I think it works pretty well.
yeah.
Yeah. I
And so
do
what did
too.
you guys yeah, Justin, so how about the again, I don't know the names, the tracker? What did you make of the tracker, the almost elvish
Freya.
Oh,
Freya?
yeah, Freya.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked her. Yeah, she looked kind of elven almost.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
Yeah,
was cool, and I
yeah, she was
loved,
really cool.
they say the word woman surprisingly a lot in this
Okay.
film.
They
Yeah,
did,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
remember when she ran off, right? They kept on going like
Yeah,
a
well,
woman. Yeah.
there's
The
first, like, "This is no place for a woman," and
Mm.
then Thomas is
and
like, "No, she's legit." And
Yeah.
then what was his name? I can't remember right now. The other was it Richard, maybe?
Is he
One of them one of
the
them
bald
jokes
guy?
and is like, "Oh,
Yeah.
he thought you were a woman, ha," you know? And then, yeah, later when,
Yeah.
Saeed is saying, "Oh, well, she ran off after it," and they're like, "Oh,
Mm.
foolish woman," you know?
yeah,
Mm.
Um,
yeah,
Mm.
it
yeah.
really it made me feel like, that character, her being a woman, was simultaneously in their world kind of notable, but
Mhm,
also not, because she was
mhm,
allowed to just be a really cool character,
Mm.
mhm.
being the
Right.
tracker and
Yeah.
that the warrior and archer. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, it was. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
I
was a badass with that bow too. I loved it.
Oh, she
Yeah.
well, yeah, I was slightly disappointed in her. I mean, I guess if you look at it realistically against a predator, and a sword and a bow and an arrow, there's not much you can do. But she had this aura to her, and I was almost imagining her to be kind of like Legolas, and being
Yeah.
really like giving the predator a really good run for their money.
Mm,
Pretty much similar to say like Tabe in Prey. I thought she had that kind of presence because she was kind of silent. She knew what she was doing. She was brave. I mean, she ran
mhm.
straight after it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, of course, I'm not going to tell them how to write it, but I would have loved to have seen her like an extended fight scene with her.
me
Um,
too. Or at least have her
yeah.
last, maybe like be the second to the last
Mm,
that falls to the predator before the final
Yeah.
guy does
It's
his
hard
thing. Yeah.
to it's hard to say. I feel like all of that. I'm sure a lot of the feelings that I have about, like, oh, I would have been nice to see this or that.
hmm
I'm sure a lot of that can be kind of chalked up to the budget and the time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's such a
Absolutely.
short film, you know.
Right.
hmm
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure if they had more time and money, they could have done
Yeah.
some really great
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, it would have
I
been
mean,
cool to see a little bit more on the backstories of the individual characters, like
oh,
what
absolutely.
they did in the Crusades and all of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, due to the compactness of the film, we're pretty much introduced as I think Thomas and the Druid just walk by them, or Saeed, I think, and Thomas walk by them, and they're just the motley crew. They're looking at them, going, and that who are these people? That was the first kind of introduction we get to them, but we quickly learn that they are the colonial marines, so to speak, or the or Dutch's
The
team, that
Yeah, they're the
version.
A team.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess the Knights Templar kind of were that back in the day, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was
Exactly.
interesting. They for being so short, they do actually give us quite a bit for Thomas.
Mm,
Just with little quick dialogue snippets that he gets, where you get the sense that he might be kind of he's tired, you know.
mhm.
Mm.
Maybe
He's at a
if
crisis of faith, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like
yeah.
if not full on
Mhm,
questioning his faith, but maybe considering, like, I'm pretty sure
Mm.
he's like considering like leaving the order, like what's it all for,
Mm.
like that sort
mhm.
of thing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really, like, you can get a lot in of a character's background with dialogue.
Mhm.
It's like
Yes.
it's a really great it seems to me at least, a really great effective way for a lot of storytellers to make every snippet of dialogue count.
Yeah.
And I felt like with his character, at least, they did a pretty good job with that.
Yeah. I think also as well, he physically looked tired, and I think there were a lot of probably early morning, late night shoots for this because there were a lot of nighttime shoots.
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah.
lighting, there was a lot of early morning. You could see with the sunlight. So I think
And a lot
the
of
poor
that
actors,
mist.
yeah, they were
Yeah,
probably put
they
through
were
the
living
ringer.
it, I'm sure. They were it
Yeah.
takes a while to get in those costumes and to
Oh,
be ready for
yeah.
that stuff. So
Exactly. Well, if we're going to stick with Thomas as well, let's jump straight to. He gets a big portion at the end, obviously, and there's a slight montage, again similar to Dutch of putting things together, but it's him putting his night outfit together, and I love that clanking the
On the
sword on the
shield, yeah.
shield,
yeah, so cool.
calling it
Yeah.
out. What did you guys make of the final confrontation? I mean, we're just jumping straight to it only because it's Thomas, but what did you think of the final matchup?
I was surprised when the Predator actually took a sword out and they started having the sword duel with that. I was really surprised by that. I thought, oh, that's cool. He's not just going to go with the claws and like slash it out. They're going to
Yeah,
have a sword fight. I like
noticed that too. It was like an actual contemporary sword.
Yeah.
So it gave me the sense that like, oh, he's been around here for a little bit. He's
Yeah.
been collecting stuff, and he's having a good time right now.
Yeah, maybe he was really itching to use that, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, very much similar to Predator 2. I just get very excited when you see new weapons come out, and so when he took out the sword, it was like, oh yes, okay, so we've got
Here we
actually
go.
a Predator sword, you know. So that was good. The Predator sparingly used the plasma cannon. We know at least one of them fell victim to that.
Headshot.
Headshot, but there were a lot of slashies here, which is pretty cool because realistically, you want to keep it on an even keel, so to speak. And knights and Templars, they've only got the swords and the shields to play with, but I like the helmet. I just like the look of Thomas in that last kind of confrontation. And what did you make of the outcome then of that fight? Was it? I did not expect it. I
didn't either. That was another surprise.
Yeah, it was a really fun sort of twist. You're always kind of left wondering what's going on in these Yautja minds, like we can guess, but I don't think we'll ever truly know, really, truly 100% understand. But it's fun to think about what it means to be fighting someone, and then Saeed, from what I recall, he surprises the Predator from behind and basically kind of makes a deal with them, his life for your life. And they all seem they seem pretty like, okay, this is it. I'm gonna this thing's gonna kill me. But then the Predator doesn't and spares them, but he takes a little trophy for the road, he takes the helmet, which I thought was a great touch. And it just I feel like it shows you again that they're not all the same, and I think it adds every little snippet that we get from like the official movies or books or really like this fan film. I feel like every little bit we get, it's just a tiny little morsel, just to like whet our appetite. And it just makes me want to know more, but I also really enjoy the fun of the mystery of it all.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, they're meant to be. I guess they're meant to be so alien in culture that it's kind of set us apart, and it's kind of hard for us to kind of fathom what they're doing to an extent. I mean, you can tell, like in Predator 2, when Greyback hands Harrigan the pistol, that's almost like a well done. You achieved something. Here you go.
You earned this.
And from the looks of it, it's like Greyback had collected it, not knowing the comics, had collected
Right.
it in a fair fight and had won it. It did make me question about the helmet, Sparky, because it's like, did the Predator earn it? But who knows what is going on in its mind? It's like you didn't defeat that Thomas, but you know, you gave him a good fight. You defeated his team. But yeah, I found it interesting. What did you think, Justin, about the kind of the understanding that it's a draw?
Yeah, it is. That was something I don't think we'd seen before. Yeah, where the Predator just drops him and walks away after having its own life threatened. A lot of the predators that we'd seen would just rather take the blade in the gut and turn around and try to slash Saeed's head off with their dying breath,
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than just give up like that and walk away. So I wonder if that's why he took the helmet. He's like, well, yeah, I am going to walk away, but I'm going to take this helmet, damn it.
Right. Yeah, I get the sense that I feel like maybe he knows he has pretty much defeated Thomas.
Yeah.
Like that, it seemed like it was in the bag.
Had him dead to rights. Yeah.
Yeah. But then this other little Ooman, like, surprised it, like, it sneaks up on him? Like, what?
Yeah.
And I can't quite tell if it was like, "Oh, wow, you got me," or if it's like, I don't really have time for this right now." You know?
Yeah.
All right, fine, that's fair. You snuck up on me, but I'm taking this helmet though, because like I earned this.
I earned that, right? Exactly.
And that,
Remember-
again,
Yeah,
that's
sorry.
just a guess. I have no idea. It could
Yeah.
very well just be maybe there's a more ritualistic aspect to it where it's only right for someone to get something. Like that's the whole point, maybe. Maybe it's
Yes.
just a matter of protocol. Or who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, there's also that little tidbit as well. Saeed also mentions, because he encountered the Predator before, and I'm assuming it's the same one, and they questioned him about it. And they said, well, how did you defeat it? And he goes, well, I didn't. I just let it do its thing, and then it left. And that's how he survived. So in many ways, Saeed as well, he stepped up in this instance as well. He put his life on the line there to save Thomas, which was, I think, a really great thing, because you had that kind of that thing built up between, the discrimination between the Saracens and Thomas for not
Yeah,
liking
and
them. So
they plant that little seed early on when they say that well, he insists like I'm a scholar. I'm not a
Yes.
warrior, and they're like, well, you are now. And so as
Yeah.
soon as you get little clues like that, I think in a film, like every little bit, especially in short films, like it's really economical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a great way to sort of guess at a character's arc, I think, where it's like, oh, okay, so he's
Yes.
like, oh, I'm a scholar. I bet later on he's going to have to do something,
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
really
yeah.
to help
It-
some way.
At first, though, I didn't like the scholar thing because it stretched the limits of my imagination. I was like, well, one lone Saracen scholar is going to go all the way up north and hang out with all of these Knights Templar by himself.
Oh yeah, no. Historically, it's really stretching. You gotta
Yeah.
suspend your disbelief
I-
a little bit. But
Yeah.
I think
I kind of wanted him to be a badass warrior as well as being a
Right.
scholar because you can be both.
Yeah.
no, it's true. It's true. I
Justin is.
myself, I feel like
Sorry.
absolutely. I feel like the film it does a good enough job sort of establishing this idea that there are people like his value is in his knowledge that he
Right.
has experienced this before and he knows about it. And I mean, maybe it's perfectly possible that a word like that travels and
Right.
the people in this area, like I think the churchman said something about how they've received money essentially from the people. So it's like, hey, like we gotta
It's God's will now.
yeah, exactly. That was a really clever little,
That was
little
good,
line
yeah.
too. But
With
yeah,
Brother
I feel like
Joseph,
they know, okay, here's this problem. We don't know what it is. They were like, what were they saying? Like witchcraft or dragons or something. Like,
Demons,
yeah,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's something. This guy knows about this stuff. Let's bring him here. Or maybe he's just traveling, or maybe they did go out to find him
Mm.
and bring him back. Who knows? Like, people did
Yeah.
travel back then.
That's true.
Um,
Oh yeah.
so I feel
Yeah.
like it's like, okay, it's a little fantastical in a way. Maybe not fantastical, but like it's a little like, it's stretching it a bit, but
Bit of a
A little
stretch,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, for the purpose of the sci-fi historical movie fighting aliens, I think it
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look,
Yeah.
I, I think you hit a point there as well, Sparky, about the economy, and I think what this does so well, the short film, is that we fill in the blanks. Like, they drop those
Yes.
little tidbits, and that it actually enriches the character, because you in your head are starting to wonder, okay, this guy's a scholar, what's happening? And you're filling in that back history, and I think that's a really clever way, because they don't have time to do that in the film, so they leave it
right.
to the viewer, which is really cool. And just by posing these unanswered or these kind of seemingly random comments, I find it really cool, because the people kind of fill it in as well. I was looking into trying to find the back history of that tracker as well, all that sort of thing, and Godfrey
Yeah.
as well. Like, Godfrey reminded me of Alan from the Predator series a
Yes.
bit.
Me
Yeah.
So
too. Yeah.
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 So
Definitely.
yeah, so there were a few others, obviously, in the team. I'm going to struggle with names here. One of them was actually, I think, the producer. Is Lloyd Holmes is his real name. He was the
Oh
guy
yeah.
that had the most grisly death, and I want to just zero in on that.
Damien.
He
Yeah.
Damien. Okay,
Oh yeah, that's right.
he was really cool. I loved the fact that there was this thing. They find the headless Freya. And I think he immediately says, "Oh, it looks like some sort of sacrifice." And I found that so much on point with obviously
Mm.
their period and time. And it's
Yeah.
Sayid going, "No, it's more like trophies." So again, I loved how the writer just made it like realistic in that sense. Like,
Mhm.
that's where they would lean towards, like either witchcraft or something like that. But
Sure.
Yeah.
yeah, but his death was really cool. I thought.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, what did you guys make of it? I think good use of graphic violence.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
think it's
Yeah.
it's good to have those kind of really visceral moments to remind you, like, yeah, this is a Predator movie.
Mm,
Yeah.
And for their
yeah,
budget, I thought it looked really good.
It really
yeah,
did.
yeah.
When he hauled that spinal column out, it looked good.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for those, if you want to be spoiled now, Damien has a go at the Predator. Doesn't really go that well. He gets his gut sliced, and you see all his innards come out.
Yeah, he
And
really
as
gives it the old college try, but it doesn't work out for him.
yeah, and as he struggles to get his bearings, the Predator just grabs him. The look on his face as he kind of digs his claws into his back and then just yanks his. It was really well done, I think, on a shoestring budget. Seriously,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was,
absolutely.
that was good. But he was, I guess, by way of character development, there wasn't too much with him. He posed some questions in the team.
Mhm.
He kind of got the the story kind of going, but didn't really, I don't think, really was integral in any way. I couldn't really
Yeah,
compare him with any other character
Mhm.
from the first film.
for
So
him, I kind of feel like he was a bit more. What I thought was interesting about this movie, really, really interesting, was it obviously takes parallels. It has a
mm,
lot of nods to the original. It uses a lot of the same lines, but kind of,
mm,
Mhm.
restructured in a way to fit the time period. But it's not 100% a straight copy.
no,
I feel like a lot of the characters from the original film, they're kind of a couple of them are almost combined into
Mm.
hmm
other
Mhm.
characters. Like some of them, like Freya being the tracker. Um, obviously Billy comes to mind, right?
yeah,
Right. Right.
yeah, absolutely.
But she's not the one who says we're all going to die.
No,
That was
that's right.
Saeed, right? And so
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like it's kind of like they took like basic ingredients from the original movie
mm,
and just kind of separated them all out and just kind of put them in different, like they
yeah,
kind of use the same ingredients to bake a different kind of meal
yeah,
Yeah.
that has it's reminiscent of the original, but it's used things are kind of rearranged. And so for oh, what's his name, Damien, for
mhm,
Damien's character, Well, I don't think it's easy to have a complete side-by-side comparison to one specific character from the original movie.
Hmm.
I felt like he was the most, more of like the straight man of sorts, like the
Hmm.
every man in that team. He was kind of skeptical in some places, or like he was very I think, was it him who was, oh, you had mentioned it, it's like, oh, it must be for some like
Yeah,
dark
sacred.
ritual or something.
Mm.
Like he
Witchcraft,
was,
yeah.
yeah, he was very much the he doesn't really have to grow too
No.
much. Like Thomas went from Saracens to like, oh, maybe like you could see a little bit of growth there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with Damien, that wasn't really, in my opinion, I don't feel like that wasn't really that character's job.
No.
His role in the movie was to just be that like middle ground
Yeah.
Mhm.
character to kind of to round it out. He was the he was kind of, he gave me like Poncho vibes a little bit
Mm.
in
Mhm.
some
Okay. Yeah.
cases
Yeah.
where like in the original where he'd be like bullshit, you're not afraid of no man, like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
way, like
yeah.
that sort of idea, that feeling. I
Mm.
kind of got that, I think, with Damien a little. And maybe
Okay.
some of the other characters too. Again, I
Yeah.
feel like they kind of, it's like everyone got to be a little bit of multiple characters or multiple
Yeah.
roles.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, yeah, there were little bits of, as you say, Damien, and little bits of Godfrey with that skepticism. Like there were a couple of
Mhm.
comments that Godfrey had about, he kind of snarked out some comments at the Saracen, about being
Mm.
Yeah,
distrustful.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, there is a mix. Saeed very much, you could directly link him, I guess, to Dylan in the sense that he was the
Mm.
mistrusted one and he was the
Mhm.
outsider, so to speak. But again, yeah, it's not an exact replica. So you're right. I mean, it's a different brew. And yeah, again, it just works really well. I think the dialogue was on point. Not that I've lived in the 15th century or whatever, but
Mhm.
Yeah, everything would sound very different.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah,
oh, go ahead, please.
oh no, sorry. I was about to just move on to the actor's name is John Campling. I don't know again his character name. He was the guy with the helmet with the nose guard, the older
Oh,
gentleman.
that
Oh,
was
with the
Richard.
crossbow. Richard,
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Richard.
He
Richard.
was the one
Okay.
who went up against the net.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
right. And he was
It's burning
ponchoed as
me.
well.
Oh.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, that cool. I'd loved, again, due to budget restraints, but I would have loved to have seen something similar to Predator 2, where that net really
Yes.
does dig into him, and
Yeah.
well, in Prey,
Yep.
it just slices and dices the poor
Oh
guy
yeah.
into
Oh
nothing.
my gosh, that
I
was.
love it.
Yeah, but
That
no, that
still
was
is in
good.
my head.
But he was, again, I think, again, the least developed of the characters. He was there. Look, let's just call him fodder, because
Sure.
that's what he was.
Yeah.
But he got the cool scene of having the three dots, the laser
Yes.
sighted onto him,
He had
and
the
again,
best death in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
quick death, yeah.
Yeah. Quick one, but yeah, it looks so good. Yeah, they did
Mm.
such a good job with that. And with the Predator vision as well. Through
Yes,
the
yeah.
visor, like with the sound effect and all that. Like
Yep.
Yeah, they really
it was
utilized
spot
those
on.
great sound effects.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Honestly, the sound does a lot of work in these kind of
Mhm.
movies. I
Yeah.
feel like if the sound isn't there, because like the Predator vision, obviously it wasn't the same caliber as what we're
Right.
used to seeing,
Yeah.
and it was missing some more enjoyable elements, like the vocal diagram
The
thing and all
yes,
that, all the little
Yeah.
pop-ups and stuff, like that stuff's fun. But man, if you get it had those sound effects just right when you
Yeah.
hear
Yeah.
like the heartbeat and you can see,
Yeah.
they did a really good. I still can't believe it was on such a small budget that they made
Yeah.
this.
Mm.
Like they really pulled this thing off.
They really
Yeah,
did. It looked so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with the sound effects. I was thinking about that, like the Foley artist, because whenever
Mm.
that someone drew a sword, it was like a shing, and like,
Yeah.
when Freya drew
Yeah.
the bow, you can hear the rope kind of stretching, and
Mhm.
so all that attention to detail is very much, I think, appreciated.
And when the Predator's walking away at the end, those big heavy footsteps, the thump,
Yeah,
thump, thump. Yeah.
exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah,
It all
fantastic
adds
stuff.
It just adds to the tension. It adds to the the production value of it as well.
Definitely.
So we kind of mentioned, Saeed as well, Saracen. Are we missing anyone? I think that's it. There's a druid at the beginning
Yep.
who I
Brother
found
Joseph. Yeah.
he was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I have to say his voice. He sounded like someone from a cartoon. Okay, you can say
Yeah,
so.
we did.
He really did,
Thomas
Yeah.
and Freya, Damien,
Yeah.
Richard, Godfrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saeed. I really liked his costume. I don't know
Me
how historically
That would
accurate
it's
it is,
really
but it
good.
looked good.
They
It
look
looked
good.
very good.
Yeah.
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 I
Um.
also. Oh, sorry. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
Yes. No. Sorry. Go on.
Oh well, I was just saying. I think we kind of touched on it a little bit already with the similarities and differences, but I really feel that they did such a good job with not only including those iconic lines um, in a way that felt a lot better than "Get to the choppers" in The Predator. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the big fear of using like, oh, say the line. Like you gotta say.
Yeah.
Like this movie, I feel like because just the little tweaks they did to like Thomas asking, "What in hell are you?"
Mm.
It just gives it that nice little flavor that changes it just enough to be still very enjoyable.
Yes.
And I feel like they did a good job, not just with that, but in following a lot of the major beats of the original film, but like kind of remixing them in their own way.
Yeah.
It makes the differences in like the setting and the characters and the time period stand out even more
Yeah.
because it like heightens it. It's kind of, I feel like it's like they say you add salt to something to bring out more of the flavors, or adding a
Yeah.
little bit of sugar will bring out more of the other flavors. That's what it feels like to me. Maybe I'm hungry right now. I don't know why I keep talking about food. It's such great analogies for food's really good for that. But yeah, it really like they seasoned it perfectly. Like it was just so good. It wasn't too cheesy or anything. It wasn't like overdone or too hammy or anything. And I really loved all the callbacks. I didn't like groan or roll my eyes or anything. It was just like really good. Really
And you
good.
mentioned too the music. The music too was
The
really
music was
good.
awesome. The
We
music
got
was awesome.
we got a lot of the themes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But
They
in
really knew
kind
how
of
to
like
use
a
that.
and like a subtle medieval arrangement. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, because compared to, and look, taking nothing away with the other fan films, and maybe one day we'll get to it as well. There's that Pacific, the World War II one. I think they pretty much ripped the first movie soundtrack straight off. So I think it loses a bit, like rather than actually have your own score and integrate some of that in, which I think this does really, really well. So
it does.
but
So
again, budget. I mean, they probably just could use what they could. So
Yeah.
just with the further to just your point, Sparky, just in any final other observations, those callbacks I found were really good because they were subtle as well, and they didn't try too hard in a lot of instances. I just want to call out there were two that I found really cool. There was the first one when the team was scouring the forest, and it just reminded me of that John McTiernan. There's that little silent montage when the Dutch's team are going through the bush heading towards the guerrilla camp. And you get the different angles of the soldiers coming in, like Billy, and then there's Matt coming through. They did a little bit of that, I felt, like with Thomas and Damien, different angles. And if you rewatch it, hopefully you can pick it up. It's but I thought that's what that homage was to. And the second one was towards the end, where we saw it in the trailer with the Predator standing over Thomas, who's down, crawling on the ground. Very reminiscent of the final scene in Predator with Dutch.
Yeah.
And so I just really love those. Like, it's not, you could argue it's a direct or indirect reference, but it's just enough there for any keen fan to go, yes, I recognize this. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so really,
this
really
looks
enjoyed
familiar, but in a good way. Yeah,
Mm.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so great that they were able to kind of it's like a pastiche almost, where
Mm.
they
Mhm.
it's not just a straight up, it's like a retelling almost, but not a
Mhm.
straight up copy where they just slapped a medieval skin over it.
Yeah.
There's echoes of the original in there still, but it's allowed to
Yes.
still be its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't praise it enough for that. I think they really
Yeah.
did a great job.
No,
Me
definitely.
too.
Justin, any other final observations before?
I was really impressed with all the camera work, especially
Mm.
with this being 2015. It looked like they used some drone cam shots, which
Right. Yeah.
back then I don't think were quite as ubiquitous as they are now.
Mm.
So that probably cost them a bit. And yeah, it just looked good. I was almost expecting it to be, you know, something that a bunch of people shot on their iPhones, but it looked amazing. Yeah, the camera work looked really good, especially when filming people on horses. I don't think people realize how difficult that is. When you're
Yeah.
Mm.
filming people on moving horses, that's difficult. That's a
Yeah.
challenge. And obviously we saw that here and they made it look really good. So yeah,
Yeah.
you can tell that they took the time and the effort and like we were saying, the attention to detail to make it look good. And instead of a bunch of shaky cams and, you know,
Yeah.
awkward camera angles that don't make sense or
Yeah.
or cheap cuts that go on too long. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
And
well edited.
location as well. I mean,
Mm,
Mhm.
that forest and everything
yeah.
was really cool. There's, I mean, if we are to be absolutely nitpicky, and this is no way did it affect my viewing of it as well. But there were a couple of shots. There's one where it was overhead and they were riding alongside the edge of the forest.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just thought, I don't know. It just seemed just probably me, but the grass was too clean cut on the ones. It was
Oh,
such
yeah.
a clean line, and I don't know. It felt a bit too well landscaped
Mhm.
Well,
for
Yeah.
maybe like they were farming,
yeah,
obviously back
yeah,
then.
yeah,
Maybe it's a fallow or a field
May
that's they're letting the
absolutely.
grass grow back in or
maybe,
something.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know.
nah, no, absolutely as well. But within the forest as well, the fight scenes, I think, it looked just as good as Valverde.
Mm.
Yeah,
In the first film, so it was very atmospheric. So
Yeah.
absolutely. I don't
yeah,
think I'll ever get that shot of the knight with the fire and the shield and the sword
Yeah.
banging out
And
of my
just
head.
bang it. Yeah,
the
so
2
So
rows of
cool.
like,
trees on either side of
yeah,
him
it
that are,
just
like,
looks so
perfectly
Yeah,
striking.
symmetrical. Yeah.
Yeah, what a
yeah,
great shot. Like that's so cool.
it
Yeah,
was
I
very
love that
good.
shot. Yeah.
Well, shall we give this a rating then? We've given ratings for
Hmm.
comics and
Yeah.
um for movies. How about a
I
fan
think
film? Yeah.
I think we should.
Honestly, I'll go first. I'll say
Mm-hmm,
it. I try to be like things that I really, really like. I'll
Mhm.
give it like a good 4 out of 5.
mm-hmm.
Or maybe a 4.5 out of 5, you know? But this is like a 5 out of 5 for me. This is
Right.
really good.
Oh, I
Way.
Yeah,
love it.
this is fantastic. For what
Yeah.
they did, like I'm satisfied. There
Yeah.
wasn't really anything in there that I was like, "Oh, that was kind of disappointing." I was just really impressed.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
And how about you? How about you, Justin?
I'm gonna have to echo that. This is a 5 out of 5 for me too. My only complaint was I
Oh,
wished it was
second all.
longer.
I know, right?
I wanna see more of this.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the attention to detail, the music, the acting, the costumes, just all of it. It was so good. And the Predator
Yeah.
costume looked amazing.
Yes. You saw
Yeah,
its
I
face
just
as well in
yeah, you
one
see his
instance.
face, you see the
Yeah.
mask, you see the blades,
Yeah,
like,
and
I
like
mean,
what
it's
a unique predator too. Like
yeah,
just in
very
Mm,
like
distinctive.
yeah, just with like the presence and the actions, you know?
Yeah.
Like the
yeah.
costume looks like pretty standard predator,
Yeah.
but like I've never seen Justin, you said like we've never seen a predator do that before. So
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
it's really
It's very
cool.
unique. Yeah. I love
Yeah.
it.
What about you, Ray?
What about you, Ray? What's
Yeah.
your rating?
Oh, look, it's going to be a trifecta. I think 5
Nice.
out of 5 as
Hey.
well. It's
Yay.
just, I would like, you could say, oh, for what it is, it's really good. But like, I think it surpasses, what it is. I mean, it
Mhm.
goes way beyond your expectations of what a fan film can be. I
Mhm.
think it is so well written in that format. The pace is running along. The dialogue is not as cheesy. All the things that we've kind of said before. There are harkbacks to the references to the older movies. It's just shot really beautifully. Special effects weren't. I mean, that could have been a pitfall. Like if the special effects were really dodgy. I did. At the very beginning, though, I think unfortunately, and luckily it was at the very beginning when that guy was running, he was all bloodied and he was running.
Oh,
I did notice a little bit of green screen at the beginning, but that was it. Like,
Yeah.
that was all.
And that was it. The Predator self effects, the blood, the gore, all done really well. So, geez, it's like one of those movies that I can't remember what that movie was. It cost $10,000, but it's worth like $50 million. It's really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So they really outdid themselves with it, and the actors. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to say as well. I think I mentioned in our chat. So Thomas, the actor, he went on to do Mission Impossible. Richard, he featured actually. He made an appearance in Harry Potter, and yeah, and Joe
right.
Egan. Yeah, and Joe Egan, the big guy, he was in I think it's Guy Ritchie's Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr.
No kidding.
Yes.
Yeah, so they did pretty
Very
well. I
cool.
don't know whether this springboarded them or or something, but it was really good. So
Very nice.
yeah. So there you go, HOTU Clan members. Let us know your thoughts as well. It'll be great to hear. We'll get some discussion happening on the chat when this episode drops. Let us know if you want to hear more and see more about our discussions on Predator fan films, because they're a lot of fun. I know there are at least 2 that we may have earmarked, and which I've mentioned previously.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are others out there.
Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions, come bother us in the Discord server.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Post links and we will check them out for sure.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Come in, say hi. It's a great place.
Yes.
Excellent.
Stop and have a cup of tea.
That's right.
For sure. And a little chin wag.
Check out the trophies.
Check out the
We have a lovely trophy wall.
Yeah, we
we do. We
we really
do.
do though, yeah.
Dripping
Cool
with
stuff
blood.
in there.
Yeah. Justin and Sparky, awesome. We've got to say we miss Russell as well. Russell's missing.
Russell's on vacation this month.
Yes.
But he will be joining us for our next episode.
Yes. So if you may be having withdrawal symptoms, no Peter Keys, don't worry, it's coming. Russell will be back with his impersonations. Just before we go as well, I'll flick this one up here. If you do want to contact us, again, we are on email, predpraypod@outlook.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as well. So just the handle there is /@predpraypod. It's all the kind of same thing. Get in touch, and of course Discord. Sparky will be there as well as both of us as well.
That's right.
Just to chat more Predator stuff.
Yeah.
So with that, guys, happy hunting. And and as always,
shit happens.
Shit happens.
Shit happens.
Catch you later.